Ponytails podcast. Here we go. Hey everyone, Andrius here, and we are continuing on with our European month, June, baby. Let's go. We are only having exclusively only European guests. You guys have already heard from a couple of our friends over across the pond. We started out with Simon Stanish, Tim Sakaranov, Tarta, Solita. We've had a bunch of them. I'm so excited that we have been able to learn so much about so many different countries and so many different cultures and so many different experiences of people who come here to do this crazy summer internship. If you guys don't know, if this is your first episode, if you haven't really you're like, what the heck is this guy even talking about? Well, we interview people who sold books door to door with a company called Southwestern Advantage. Now, we're not affiliated with the company itself, so I must say, but all of us that have been on the show have sold books door to door for 80 hours a week during an entire summer on straight commission, Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. to 10:30 p.m. No stop. Like, we just go all summer long. And through that, you can imagine some of the craziest stories that you can experience in life will happen to you. Now, is it the hardest thing you ever did? For some of us, yeah. For some of us, no. But the idea is that it's a challenging program. Some people end up loving it. Some people end up hating it. We don't care. We're just here for the stories and to hear a little bit about what they are up to. Now, one of the things that I love about what we're doing now is we took all of these alumni. There's 100,000 of them because the company is I think it's like 160 years old at this point now. But we ask them about their experience. What was it like for you? What did you experience? How was it? And through that, we've gotten to make friends with all sorts of different people in all sorts of different industries who have then poured back into us. So I want to give a couple of announcements, a couple of shout outs to some of our friends here on the show. And we'll start up with this BIZZLER update and with Elevate Wellness. So BIZZLER, guys, is still happening. Of course, it's still happening. We have a slew of people signed up already. It's going to happen between August 15th through the 19th. You guys are invited to come. If you sold one summer, at least, of books and you want to come, please do. There's a link below you can click on, and then that link will take you to our sign up. And then there's also a video that you can get more information on. Here's just some of the basics. We're going to be going to the Valentin Imperial in Mexico. So we're going to Cancun, and we're going to have a lot of fun while we're out there. We're going to do some of the classic stuff that we do, of course, over in our Sizzler trip while we were selling books. But really, it's going to be at the Valentin Imperial at the Riviera Maya. And so that's going to be, you can see it on the screen there, Valentin Imperial at the Maya. There's a link in the description. You are going to be paying for the room, and then you can book your flights to get there. Obviously, it's pretty simple. You can do payment options as well. And there's, of course, a variety of pricing depending on how many people go to your room. But if you want more details, like I said, just make sure you click below, more of those specifics there. Now, for us to get ready for it, we've been preparing with our friends over at Elevate Wellness, who have been our mentors when it comes to fitness. And so with these guys, it's been a lot of fun. I was struggling to even get really healthy groceries to kind of figure out what to put in my meals to make myself feel better and look better. And these guys helped me out with that and helped me with a plan and an accountability to be able to stay fit. Of course, they helped me out with my gym program as well, because I've been using the same workout since I think high school. so luckily for them, they were able to help me point out what I'm doing with myself at the gym. And they noticed that a lot of people were in the same boat. They created this amazing community that lives online, and they exchange a lot of motivational stuff. They exchange a lot of really amazing tips on fitness. So if you guys want to join us on this movement to elevate our minds, our body, and our lives, please join. Click on the comment section below, or send us a message on Instagram or YouTube, and we'll get you connected with our friends over at Elevate Wellness. A quick also big shout out to Will Metscher. He is one of my oldest friends, especially from the time of selling books. He's working with Southwestern Consulting now. One of the things I loved about doing this job was that I was able to coach other college kids on things that other people weren't going to learn later into life. Our friend Andrius today, who's on the show, I'll bring him up here in a second. He was even talking about what he does now, and he learned so many things that help him with his current business that some people don't really get to learn. So we made a pretty big lasting impact. And so of course you can work with Will Metscher to continue to do the same. He is looking for help because he is one of the best coaches over at Southwestern Consulting, and all of the people that are working with him on his team are making over 6 figures. And so it's an awesome opportunity for you to be able to join, help others, make a lasting impact for maybe people who didn't get to learn those things that we got to learn during our time selling books. And then last but not least, a big shout out to Cardinal Senior Benefits. Now these guys have been working with us for a couple months now, and man, they're a lot of fun. We have had there's currently a $500 referral bonus. And if you maybe haven't heard about Cardinal and what they do and kind of what the mission of them are, a lot of companies talk about flexibility and freedom. These guys work with life insurance in the late life insurance business. So we're talking about the demographic that's a little bit older. And because of that, they have a ton of flexibility and freedom because they can kind of work their schedule around their actual life, not around their clients' lives, which is pretty sweet. They have a pretty diverse set of people who work there. So regardless of your situation, you could probably fit it along. But here, just so you guys have an idea, Jessica Chappell and Bridget Nicholson, they're both moms, and they're making a solid living and keeping their families as their number one priorities. And, they're making 6-figure incomes while working 15 to 25 hours. But then you got Pedro Vega and Quentin Roberts, who are more on the leadership side of things. They're also making multiple 6-figure incomes, but they started doing just selling, and then now they're moving into the training roles, and they're working about 30 to 45 hours. And then you got people like Sean Brifo and Greta Huerta, and they're single, no kids yet, no family yet, but their schedule varies from week to week and month to month. They're able to take full advantage of that freedom and flexibility because they can take care of business at home. They make multiple 6-figure incomes working 25, 35 hours a week. No cold calling on that one. So it's pretty awesome. All the leads are super warm. If you guys are out there and you're listening and you thought about leaving your job or look for other things, just maybe not happy with the money you're making, you're just maybe just looking for more flexibility, more freedom, give these guys a call, or don't. They don't really give a shit. Either way, they'd rather work with you, but buying atmosphere here, they don't have to. So anyway, again, there's that $500 referral bonus for them. Now on to our guests for today. So again, we continue with our European guests. Andrius Pelegrimas is in the house with us. Now, Andrius sold 13 summers from 2005 to 2017, part of the E1 organization. He went to Vytautas Magnus University in Lithuania, where he's from. He's from Koma there. And I asked him, like, what's one of the proudest things that you learned, or one of the coolest moments that you have? And he mentioned is exactly that. He was able to understand people better. He was able to understand his parents better, and it helped him so much with his current work. So let me bring him on the screen, and he can tell you for himself. And I'm just looking forward to this conversation. So here we go. What is up, sir?
Hey guys, how are you?
How's it going?
Going great.
I love it, man. I got to tell you, first of all, thank you for being on here. I've had so much fun with European guests and learning about different cultures of different countries. And we've had people from, Scotland, Estonia, Latvia, the Czech Republic, Poland. I mean, you name it. And so it's been a lot of fun. We'll get into some of the heritage of your country in a little bit, but you're coming in live from Lithuania. Is that right?
Yeah, Lithuania, one of the Baltic countries. So there is Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania. A little bit more south of out of this tree. But yeah, so am I first one from Lithuania that you are talking to?
Yes, sir. You're the first one from Lithuania.
So that's good. So it's always nice to be number one. Huh?
That's what they told us anyway. And it's such a cool aspect of this job that people come from Europe to come and have this crazy opportunity. But and we'll talk about that and how you got into the Southwestern world a little bit later. But catch us up a little bit on what's going on right now. So it's 2017. It's been about 5 years since you left the book field. What are you up to? How and kind of what was the story of the last 5 years to get you here to where you are today?
Well, right now what I'm doing is, I guess you can call me a teacher, a school principal, or a coach, or whatsoever. Actually, I work in school. I own a school together with my wife Dovile, and then we have a kindergarten here. We have big kids school, a high school. We have Ukrainian school. We have over 500 students and 120 teachers. So.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, I do a little bit of everything. I don't like to put myself a title. I'm a principal or a teacher. because where you are in this position that you are working lots with people, you just do what's needed at that time, at that moment, and that's it. I don't even have an office, to be honest. That's my office. I don't know if people can see. That's kindergarten class, pretty much. We have,
That's awesome.
and yeah, we have kindergarten graduation today. So some kids are graduating and they moving forward to primary school. So I just came in here, gave them high fives as we call them, these diplomas and hugs and on, and then I'm right here with you talking, and that's
Another kindergartner.
yeah, another one, yeah. Yeah, but you're right. Sometimes it's easier with kids rather than with you guys, adults.
They're honest, at least.
Yeah.
The kids will just tell you how it is, especially at that age. They're like, "You look fat." All right, or whatever. Now let me ask you this: how did you decide to do this? I mean, was it just did you always want to do this before even you sold books, or did the opportunity just kind of come along as you went after you left Southwestern? How did you get to this point?
Well, it's a good question. To be honest, it's very hard for me to answer this too, because even starting when I started selling books, it also was not planned. It's just something that made sense at that time, and then with school it was the same. You see, when I started selling books, I was second-year student, and I thought it would be a great idea to learn English. And then this opportunity popped out. Why not? Because you speak door to door, every day, and all day long. It just turned out that I can be very good at this. So this came later. With school, it's always like that. It was like that too. Um, I think through selling books, I understood that I felt that I sell a little bit differently. Maybe some people sell on conviction. Some people sell by being expressive. I sold, I think, by understanding what I'm selling. It was really educational tools that really help kids, and I was able to find a proper need and help those families in the ways the best, I think. So I kind of understood problems that teachers and parents and kids are facing in school. So it just became part of me. So school happened naturally afterwards, and this is where I put all my experience. And my wife Dovile, she always felt for teaching. I think she's this teacher from the heart. So she always had those students who come at our house. She kind of similar like as tutoring, if you know. And then there were more and more coming, so I got a place for this. You don't need to do it at home. Let's do it somewhere else. There were 10 students first year. The next year there were more and more, and they asked, "Oh, okay, we kind of like it. Can we go there like every day? And can you teach us like in school?" I said, okay, so we made a kindergarten of 5 kids, and they didn't leave. Then they became first graders, second graders, and from those 5 kids now we grew up into 500, and now I became a principal. So here is the story. So
Wow.
good things happen unexpectedly, and I didn't plan. I just focused as just like a regular book day, one day at a time, one equal period at a time, and you do the best you can in the moment you are. And here you go, and I now like it. It's just part of my life, and it's more than a work. It's just our life basically, and I enjoy this a lot. And we publish books and we help in other ways. It's just I'm happy where I am.
Wow. That is so cool. I got so many questions. This is so awesome.
Yeah.
So okay, so first of all, that's such a book story, right? You're like, yeah, it's 5 kids, and then it was second grade, then it's 500 kids, like that to another person, and when you say it, they're like, yeah, that makes sense. Which is kind of the cool thing about what we did. But of that experience, and of your experience of seeing like what school and education is like in the United States, which not great. I mean, depends on where you're asking or where you're at, I guess. But how much of that experience did you pull from both to operate the school and to kind of like to lay out the curriculum? Like how much of that was helpful, and what parts of it were the most helpful for you?
Well, to be honest, problems are the same everywhere. If we talk about Western countries, so let's assume Europe and UK, and
Sure.
then we have America, and we are Western world, and we have the same problems. To be honest, school
Yeah.
curriculum is never a problem, and it's not. And school curriculum is not that bad in US, and it's not something that I would even discuss about. Or uh, in schools in general, what we have a problem with is just culture and organizational things. It's basically like working with people, leading teams, and it's just simple things of leadership. That is the problem, and also emphasizing things that truly matter. Sometimes when we emphasize curriculum is important, but some kids, they just need to learn to be on time or to put their phone
Right.
on. And communication is the problem. Like parents and teachers, they don't know how to talk. Like
Mm.
basically what happens, they're able to get into some kind of argument through the messages. Who talks on messages? If you have an issue or something that you need to agree on, you just meet in person, and you kind of work out the solution. If you have a common goal that you're aiming for, is your best, like your education of your child, right?
Mm.
So you can't get emotional on messaging. And this is what all we do right now. So it seems to me that problems are the same everywhere, whether it's states or Lithuania, Europe. We need to learn how to manage school as an organization first, and only then think of it as a school that it actually teaches kids. So what I
Wow.
learned from states is just through this experience, meeting parents, meeting teachers, and selling them. I all got this information, and I understood what really hurts the most, and then I act. And it's as simple as it is.
Wow. That is wow. This is so amazing. I'm just this is so cool. When you're doing this, and as you've done this, I mean, of course, we went through the pandemic. We're still going through the pandemic in some ways, of course. And how did that affect you, and how did you kind of navigate through the COVID situation as it started? I mean, I mean, I'm sure it must have been pretty rough in Lithuania and really all of Europe. How did you navigate through that?
Well, lockdown is everywhere. I guess in states it's the same. Kids had to stay home, right? And they
Right.
spend most of the time on the computers and having this distance learning things. At some point, it's good. You learn new skills, but COVID situation and well, basically with COVID and with distant learning, you can last maybe 2 months. After that, motivation of students and teachers starts dropping down, and issues come. So it's very important not to do it for long. And we cannot eliminate live one-on-one teaching or teaching in class as a group. We also understood this. So we've been creative. So what we did, according to regulations, then yeah, you can't go and do live. So okay, you do distant, but after a month or two, some lockdown rules loosen up a bit. So you look for the ways how to get to meet people and talk with them live. So what we did, regulations are actually only for the inside buildings, right? So what we did, let's meet outside. Makes sense.
Solving problem solving, just eating
Yeah.
problems for breakfast.
Well, that's true. Another thing, what was, they say, probably in America could be the same. They say special needs kids, they're
Mm.
okay to go in life and get special, care. They need to get answers. Special needs kids with learning disabilities, this was not a problem. So my view is that after 2 months of distant learning, some teenagers, they all became special needs. So they all have to come in live for consultation. So
Right.
I'm not saying you're breaking the rules, but you're just trying to find the way to do the proper thing that is really valuable, and that's it. I think the most hurtful social group of people, it's actually teenagers. It's not the primary school kids because they have parents and everything. It's the teenagers. They need more attention because overall they're lost in their vague world of what's right, what's wrong, and now we left them alone on internet. So where
Yikes.
does
Yeah.
that lead them to? With no principles, with no good examples, what they need the most. So our goal was somehow to get them into this live conversation, live interaction. So that's what we try to do, kind of like bending those rules, and helping them, and at the same time staying healthy. And we worked out the plan, and we adopt. I'm not
Wow.
afraid of this. All these issues is that like in Southwestern, we learned any problem, any challenge is also an opportunity. So
Yeah, I love that. That is so cool. And now, as you went through this process, I guess I don't know how it works in Lithuania, but here in the United States, to become like a school, there's like certification, certain standards. It's so standardized and like kind of in a good or bad way, depending on what you're talking about. Is it the same thing in Lithuania where you had to kind of go through a lot of like government tape and make sure everything was legit? And was that process difficult, or how did you navigate that, without knowing really where you were headed?
No, that's not that difficult actually. This is like just the paperwork and things like that. And we went since we grew. How I say, we grew very. mm, we grew in correct way. Let me tell you this. So we started
Sure.
from 5, then the next year it's 20, then 30, then maybe 50, 60, 100, and only that now it was a big boom. So when you grow step by step, it's easier to do all the accreditation and learn on the spot as you go, and then find out about curriculum and everything. So this is why it is important not to, hey, let's do this, let's get everybody here, look at me, we're going to have the best school ever. I never look at this way. My goal is short-term goal. You do one thing right, then you move on, and that's it.
Mm,
So everything kind of makes it a bit easier when you talk about these accreditations and overall just preparing and giving people a good service, especially when it is about their children and schooling, which is the service is very, very sensitive. So,
right. Right. And that makes sense. And of course, through this experience, you've learned how to deal with difficult parents and all that stuff, as you were saying, for sure, like dealing with difficult children, motivating kids to want to do work. Now, have you used any of the Southwestern books in your curriculum, or any, like, do they use Explore and Learns at your school, or
kids' books are somewhere else. Well, yeah, actually, there are kids' books are right there on the corner. There are English books. So
Nice.
we use because we have English speaking students too. So by the way, our school is kind of like this multicultural and bilingual. We have English speaking kids, Lithuanian speaking kids, now Ukrainian speaking kids, and Russian speaking kids. So it's all there. So we use children books, My Set, Ask Me's, and Explore and Learns, and all this that I sold. We have them here. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, amazing. I just thought of all this stuff. I wanted to ask you about the Ukraine and Russia conflict that's going on, and what you've seen from the migration of all these children and families, really,
Yeah.
towards the surrounding area. What have you noticed, and what's the situation, I guess, that you've witnessed from your end of the field?
Well, it's very wide topic to talk about. We can talk about how children feel. We can talk about how teachers feel who teach. We can talk about,
Sure.
how Lithuanians feel. This is just another big topic. Just overall, if you want, we will be able to explore it as well.
Yeah, that'd be
But
that'd be awesome.
I don't know, like overall, what is important to understand, who is aggressor, who attacked, and who must be stopped. Overall, I have an issue also with all the Western world about being this politically correct, or just, I don't know, just making calculations, what's good or
Yeah.
what's not for their own sake, And but reality is like that. You have a bully, and a bully will stop only when he's hit in the face. To be
Hmm.
honest, that's true. You can't go into negotiations with a guy who does not understand the type of language, And I'm pissed when somebody like, from France, like Macron, or just somehow talk to him and negotiate something, who is clearly a basically
Tyrant.
tyrant beating other people, and you're inviting him for discussion. I mean, what's there to discuss? So that's one point. And this is what Ukrainians are mostly disappointed with. Because you see, I also employed over 25 Ukrainian teachers, and their husbands are fighting right now in this area which is being occupied. So every morning for them is a little bit with tears, because some of them are successful when they get a message that their husbands are okay. Some of them don't get a message for 2 days, for 3 days. So they have different thoughts. And for them to hear that type of talk from Western world, or somebody's trying to do politics, is that, or negotiating some kind of, with this tyrant, is just, to me, it's just I don't know, it's disrespectful
Yeah.
in that sense. So I am completely, hey, it's bad. And obviously they don't talk to these people, they don't have interaction with them, they maybe don't feel the problem. And I meet this every day, meet those teachers every day, understand, and their husbands are still there, their brothers, their sons. So this is one situation, how serious it is. And also it is very important to understand the situation right now. Everybody's already loosening up. We did the best we could for Ukraine, we gave a lot of money. But the problem is that the real situation is happening right now when Russia is taking over these places. They actually implementing Russian language everywhere. They put Russian ruble right now in those occupied places, and they're attacking very, very hard. And now Ukrainians need a lot of support, but somehow people are already backing out. As you can see, media is already posting about, Johnny Depp story or whatever.
Yep.
And this is not good, So. So overall, I think it's disrespectful opinion towards them, and I don't like this. But they're doing great. I think they're true examples on how to stand strong and how to focus on daily activities, because they teach kids. So basically, we have 26 children. 26 teachers, and we have 180 kids from Ukraine. So they teach them now, and they're just trying to stay focused on everyday activities, and not to think about what's going to be next. And they appreciate that moment. So, and situation for kids, psychologically, I don't think that they're very, very affected, and that they need psychological person talking to them all the time. But they understand that situation is not great. So we're just trying to help them, to support them, to give them certain tools, and just to stay together. And we try to have fun too, to laugh, to make jokes, and just go day by day.
That is heartbreaking with what's going on with your teachers and their husbands and brothers and stuff. And I'm so sorry to hear about for them. That's such a difficult. I mean, as a Colombian, I understand a little bit. What it's like to grow up in a place where it's not safe every day. And I understand as an immigrant from Colombia to the United States from war, what it's like to have to move and change your entire life because some asshole is just trying to ruin it for you, literally. But what, with this situation and you see 180 Ukrainian kids, are they all new students, or did you have them before, or how many of those students were like?
Yeah, we enrolled them last week of March. So we just enrolled them randomly. They just came in.
Wow.
The biggest, how to say, the biggest diaspora, the biggest refugee amount we had somewhere like end of March already. So we just made a decision, that we're able to. We will enroll students. That's no problem. My initial goal was actually to give job to teachers, because it's the same in Bookfield. Look, two things you need: place to live and a book bag, right? And territory. So I give you a book bag and just somewhere there, and I go and I will survive. So people were the same. So we placed them to live where to live. Somebody hosts them actually, or hotels, and we help with that. And then they also want a job. And if people get a job, they feel they are part of community, they are part of society, and they feel that that their life is purposeful as well, as far as trying to be a part of the country. So my goal was just to employ them. So when first teacher came and asked for the job, I just enrolled them, and more came, and then more, and then more, and then the students came, and 200 almost there. So it's just simple as it is.
That have you noticed that has it been increasingly more every day, or has it been kind of gone down? Like, do you think that most people who are going to be leaving Ukraine have already left? Like, I know it was a mass exodus, right? There was like 10 million people that were displaced throughout.
Some of them left already. A few of them leaving, but some of them are coming back again, because it's very, it's most of them right now for the school enrollment. We have 370 registrations, so 370 students are willing to start school from September 1st. So I assume it's probably the number would be about the same because they're looking at it logically. They're just thinking, huh, if I go now, where do I go? There is no work. In some cases, they lost their homes. Schools are broke. Actually, are exploded. Because of the
Yeah.
rockets and everything, and government does not have money. So where would they pay salaries from? They actually everything goes to the military.
Right.
So
To
technically,
defend.
they're just thinking about logically. Maybe 1 or 2 years I could work somewhere, and
Yeah.
that's it. So that's our goal to now look at it as a 1 year project. Once
Right.
that over, we're gonna move on.
So on and so forth. Man, this is bookman mentality right there. Wow. And so, where are you getting funding from? Is this government funded your school, or is this kind of like self fund? How are you able to provide services, and if people want to help, and maybe help send supplies or help with especially with the situation in Ukraine, how can people reach out, and what are kind of some of the needs right now for you?
Well, basically, what we need, I need money because everything is actually pretty much all the employment expenses, and salaries and all the facilities. Everything is actually from donations. So we collect donations too. Actually, Southwestern donated close to 20,000 euros, I believe. Some
Wow.
people as well made donations. Some people from Germany, Lithuania, different companies. Basically, I make calls. I ask, hey, I need money. Give money, please. Government
Yeah.
also, but they are not able to help with that much since government is government. They are not able to be so fast and effective with the situation as private people, businesses, and on and on. So they jump in a bit later. But
Right.
for next year, we need to collect about 1 million euros to survive for a year. So if
Wow.
this show is somewhere aired
Yeah.
publicly, I would accept donations too and
Yeah.
connections. So
Yeah, let me put this the website up. So if you guys want to learn a little bit more about it, and figure out how you can donate and where you can go to help, is it did I have that right? Right, that's HEROJUS.IT/EN for the English website. So it's on the screen if you guys are listening in. We're about 32 minutes in. If you're just listening on Apple Podcast, or if you're on Spotify, you can actually pull up the video. But that's HEROJUS.IT/EN, and we can actually put that on the description on the link below. Just I'll have to remember that. They can reach out to Andrius, and that way you can figure out how you can donate, how you can support uh, all the help. All the help we can send that way from our audience. That would be phenomenal. Just supporting a bookman who is doing awesome things in Lithuania. That is such a cool mission that you're on, my friend. Wow, so wild.
I'll
So,
send you, Andres, I'll send you the different link because this is the, just a sec,
oh yeah, sure.
because this is direct to our donation, have direct link to our donation
Yeah, absolutely.
window here in the chat system. I'll just put it right there.
Okay,
Here you
here.
go. So if
Oh,
you
there it
open
is.
up,
Boom.
you can see this is information in English and in Russian too, and in Lithuanian. So it's much more easier to share this with people.
Yeah. Okay.
Because all the official letters and agreements of support, and financial reports as well for now, and just all the other companies who are helping already. So it's very good. What I like about this is that people actually can be very cooperative.
Yeah.
It's one of the examples when the government, citizens, and all the private companies can actually be together for one good cause. So it's
Yeah. For
yeah.
kids, to help kids. All day. Absolutely. I also need to connect you, just, and I'm saying this on the air, in case people also have other connections, because that's the beautiful thing about what we do is we have some pretty solid networking ability, especially with our show. I need his connection with Scott Smith, who was very big after he left Southwestern. His episode is actually, I think it's episode 85. I definitely go recommend checking it out. But he moved on to a company that does and develops software, like educational software. So, and he goes all over the world. He's in Spain, actually, in Madrid, and I'm sure I've connected him with a couple other people where we he's got a lot of resources from an educational background standpoint. So publishing companies, whether it's materials, he does software for like McGraw-Hill and a couple other like or he used to. He's a ton of connections in the education world. So that's one place. And then I
Sure.
also need to Simon Stanish. He is in Poland, and he also has a similar program, but I think it's for older kiddos, and they're helping
Yeah, I know
families and kids.
Simon. We actually talk quite a bit and quite often. You know, he's a
Yeah.
friend of mine too, because
Oh,
neighboring
okay,
country.
cool.
So yeah, we
Yeah,
hang out.
I figured you might. Yeah, a lot of people know Simon, but it's kind of hard because people. He did tell him 2000 in the mid 2000s, so I figured you might know him. But yeah, he's very well connected
Yeah,
too.
we
So
started. We were first years, I think, together. Yeah, his first summer, I think, was also 2005, or maybe a year earlier. I don't know, but I think we started together, so we stayed in touch for quite a bit, and we still. The last time we talked, I think, was a month ago or so.
that's yeah, phenomenal. And then I think I also need to connect. Do you know Rado?
Say it again.
Radoslav Ivanov? He is
Yeah,
from
I know.
Bulgaria.
Hmm.
Yeah, Rado could be a good connection too because he's also helping raise funds for a separate entity. But he might have some good connections to kind of send your way, as well as Todd McWhorter. I'll connect you with some people who are like this is basically what they do is they help collect funds. They're like and for different reasons, but even if they can't help, they might know the right people to go in the right direction. So for sure, we'll use our network as best we can to help out. Um, Again, the website, if you want to go straight to the donation page, will be on the link below. You can click right there. Just go ahead and click, send anything that you can. And if you are on, oh, here, let me edit this so it's not without the HTTPS. But again, it would be the same website. It'd be like hero just like HEROJUS.IT/IT/Parama. That's PARAMA. So herojust.it/IT/Parama, PARAMA. You can go to that website and donate straight in support as much as you can. That'd be phenomenal. So man, that is awesome. That you're doing a great thing, man. You're doing a great thing, and I'm so
Thank you.
proud to know a book guy that's doing so many cool things. That's awesome. Wow. Wow. Well, I guess the last couple of questions I have, or I guess the last one thing I wanted to know with the school is what's the goal? Like, I mean, assuming the funding comes in and you are able to collect these resources, what's the big picture? Have you, or are you still taking it one step at a time?
Well, I think for the future, the school will be just like that. It's going to be a little bit more multicultural, and I'm fine with that. I have a feeling that some families and some kids they will just stay here for a long way, and that's fine. So and that's it. So our goal was always, to be bilingual school with different cultures and this educational institution. It has to be that way. So it just made things faster. So, like I said before, every challenge is also an opportunity. And yeah, now we learn in many languages, and the future is just to do the best we can and be the best we can, and in the moment we are, and that's it.
Wow, I love that. Very cool. I have no doubts that you'll find a way, Bookman.
Yeah.
Now, did your wife sell books too?
Hi, she sold
Oh,
hardcore Chicago. So,
oh, oh! You guys are gonna be fine. You got two book people at the helm. You're gonna crush it. It's gonna be amazing. Oh, I love that.
yeah, lots of employees also sold books who are teachers now, and they're still selling. I have two employees in Heroes School who are now selling. Karolis is selling in Canada, and so Lina, our a new teacher, she's also a student. She's actually selling for the first time.
Oh, nice. So it's just you going back home, taking them back home so they can learn.
Well, like
Taking
I
them to
said,
the
we're
homeland.
staying in touch, and we kind of we collect charities and things, and it's I've been involved with Southwestern so many years. It's very, very hard to step out of the community and just to be away from it. So
Yeah, yeah. It's kind of interesting once you leave for a while. You figure out, whoa, there's a whole world out here. It's kind of there's a whole new thing. This might be a good time to transition into Southwestern if that's okay. Do you mind?
yeah, sure.
I'll do that. And let me do a quick shout out to a couple people if you need to go address it. Do you need to take a bathroom break or anything like that while I do
Uh,
this?
yeah, I guess we could. I just want to make sure that you hear me okay, because now the some work is happening over here. Everything good as far as the voice
So,
and
yeah, I can still hear you fine. If that gets too loud, I'll let you know, and
yeah,
maybe
let me know if we
yeah.
have some background things. So yeah, let's do like a minute break. I'll be back soon. Okay.
So sounds good. Sounds good. Guys, quick shout out, and I want to give a quick shout out to our friends over at Southwestern Real Estate. Our friends Pat Roach, Meredith Gardner, Grant Greeter, some of the people who have been, Phil Zolke, congratulations on your wedding, by the way, sir, who have been on the air before and who have been supporters of ours since the beginning. We love working with them. Now, if you guys are looking to switch into something new, you're looking to get into a different career, and you want to learn a little bit more about what an opportunity with Southwestern Real Estate looks like, I'll tell you. Right now, they are obviously expanding at a massive rate. They're in 14 different states, and the real estate industry is just still booming despite the economy being all weird. It's still going strong. We've had um, a lot of people who I mean, I'm looking for a house right now, and there's so much shortage or so much that it's so competitive right now that it's still a booming industry. Now, normally speaking, with real estate, about 95% of the people end up dropping off within the first year that they get registered. That's just the industry average. But with Pat Roach and Southwestern Real Estate in the last 15 years, they've grown and done the exact opposite, where 95% of all their agents stay with the company and make six figures. So real estate is too good of an industry to mess up, guys. That's why Pat and his team have flipped the script and built a solid culture within their company and made their job as being experts in their field for warmer and more reliable sales. They're crushing it right now. Real estate's been crazy lately, but with him and his team, it's not 99% drama free, is what we like to say. So reach out to us. You guys get an automatic interview. If you sold books, you get an automatic interview with Pat Roach, and working with a team that's just phenomenal, and full of studs, really just getting you to become the best version of yourself as well. So another big shout out to Thought Leader. Now, Thought Leader is our friends over with Fido and Dillon Barr. Dillon was one of the funniest book guys that I ever met, selling books, and they help people land TEDx talks, like the red dot talks. 400 people they've successfully helped doing so, in fact, and now they need your help. They're working exclusively with Ponytails and looking for alumni to join their team. They currently have openings for two roles. One is the SDR role. Basically, you're taking warm leads, calling them, make sure they're qualified, make sure they're the right fit for the program, and setting them up with an interview with an enrollment advisor. Now, the earning potential for that is 50 to 75 plus a year, 75,000 per year. And there's progression to get into the enrollment advisor role, which is the second role they're hiring for. So if you're a little bit more high caliber, get a little more experience, thicker resume, especially with Southwestern stuff, you'll be speaking with the most interesting people in the world, literally, who are looking to land a TEDx talk. And you'll wake up every day, your calendar is pre-filled with qualified applicants. It's like having a sit down with moms who have money, have kids, they're struggling with homework or whatever. And so you're just trying to make sure that they're the right fit for the program. The earnings for this role are between 130 to 200,000, but it's pretty high standards on the role. It's very fast paced, and you got to learn quick. For the right person, it might be the right opportunity. For the right person, it might be a career of a lifetime. So if you're interested, send Dillon Barr. He's Thought Leader's head of sales and client experience. Send him a message, and an email at DB. That's D as in Dillon, B as in Barr, at thought-leader.com. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. And then last but not least, big shout out over to our friends again at Cardinal, and with Quentin Roberts and Pedro Vega and Nick Dale, and just really just kind of a promotion here of like a recognition and a shout out to how they are able to do this system. So basically, the reason that they can write so much business in such a small amount of time is because they've created a very solid lead system. They're mail-in leads. What that means is their clients, potential clients, get these paper ballots almost in the mail, and they fill out. It says literally, you might qualify for a program to assist with final expenses. If you don't want to know how to qualify for this life insurance that's available to you, fill this out. And they fill out their name, information, date of birth. So what's happening, what the point of this is, when they get those leads in, they're warm, they're hot leads, super hot leads. And so every agent gets about 20 to 40 direct mail leads, depending on how much they want to work or how little they want to work. They're looking to do 20, 35 hours a week, and they're making, like, their top agents are making 12 to 15K a month or a week. a week, guys. So if you want to hear more about that opportunity and how to get that return of investment on your time while still being able to work hard, but not, 80 hours a week, but still earn an amazing income, call us. They're having a $500 referral bonus right now. It's the right time to get into it. So make sure you guys are, make sure you guys are reaching out to us. There's also a link below. You can get more information where you can refer yourself or others, especially if they sold books. Now let me get Andrius back on the screen. Hello, my friend. We are back. Whoa. First of all, the lighting is amazing.
I changed the classroom because the people that taking care of facilities came in and picked me out, so so I had to go to the other classroom that had been ready. And yeah, I sit by the window, and yeah, I look much more better. See.
Dang. All y'all Europeans sell books. All y'all are good looking. Oh, y'all. I remember going to GRS. I go to GRS and I look at all the Europeans. And I'm like, gosh, these guys are all pretty. They're all amazing. Oh.
Well, we have the saying, you never get old when you sell books. That's why I sold for 13 summers. So.
Oh, that's true. Now, actually, glad you said that. So let's roll back the clock. So it's 2005. How the heck did you get into this thing? Because I feel like the stories, especially for Europeans, are always so interesting. How did you hear about this? How did you get it? Maybe talk a little bit about growing up in your childhood in Lithuania, and then how did that lead to college and college to the United States?
Well, yeah, actually, life in school for me was, I don't know, was an experience. I liked it a lot. I was a tough child, almost kicked out from school from misbehaving, but since the puberty ended, things got normal again. So that's normal. Everybody goes through that. In high school, I was a good student, almost like a school president or something like that. I was running a radio actually in school and was quite active. Of course, academics weren't the priority. It's just maybe a little bit more of a social life and building something and making services. I really liked all that type of things. And so I did enter Vytautas Magnus University. Somehow I was good at history subject too. That one thing for me was interesting, so I read a lot. I discussed about things, and I understood the processes. And overall, history it's just a wise subject, to be honest. So.
Okay.
Yeah, so and I got very well for the. We have the state exams, in Lithuania, and I passed very well the state exam, and I got admitted to the history program in Vytautas Magnus University. But definitely, I'm not a historian right now, and I'm still quite business-minded, to be honest. But overall, it just makes sense to understand what happens, so you can predict what might happen. And when I was in the second year of bachelor's degree in Vytautas Magnus University, there was this questionnaire. They came in from somewhere, guys offering job and internship in States. Probably it's the same everywhere, whether you are in Estonia or America. They always fill out a questionnaire. What are your summer plans? And it kind of looked interesting for me. I liked people who came in and were interviewing and giving out those spreadsheets. It was two people. No, yes, actually was a girl, Estonian girl and a Lithuanian guy. This girl looked very nice, was hot. It was very simple decision for all the guys to fill out the application. I just wanted to get into that interview, So you lay in Willamets, I think. So I fill out, I went to the presentation. They talked about this opportunity of selling books. I did not consider myself a salesperson. I've never done that before. But to be honest, character-wise, I'm pretty committed. I like goals. I never back down. I played basketball for many years. Hardworking as well. So it just for me made sense. And they say it's gonna be hard. Oh, I say it's gonna be hard. Okay, then I like it. Let's see how hard it can be. And that it's gonna be challenging and there is competition. I say, oh, okay, let's see. So
Yeah.
it seems to me that I'm also driven by complexity of situation. So even right now, I get purpose when there are problems, if it makes sense. So I find myself needed, to be honest, when there is something to be fixed. So this program for me was an opportunity to, I don't know, just to fix something, and of course learn English, because I knew, because we're a small country, Lithuania, and everybody has to be fluent in the future, and know what I mean, going door to door, selling and talking to people. What's the best way to learn English? Probably that's it.
Right.
And I signed up, and they selected me. I went cold first, because I thought, I don't know, it's sketchy anyway. And this, I did not get to the interview to that girl. Other guy interviewed me, so I did not get into interview with that girl that came in through the door.
They tricked me.
Yeah, and it's like, oh man, this guy, I don't like him. He's like weird, and I said no to the program after they kind of almost selected me, but I felt something was wrong. When you do something and you feel that it's not right and it's bugging you. So
Yeah.
this is what I felt after I said no, and for a month I had this crappy feeling inside me. And then my now wife Dovile, at that time we just dated, she said, "Go ahead, just message them again and try to ask again to kind of be a part of it." And I messaged those people again, "Hey, can I reconsider?" And they, "Yeah, sure." And I came in and they did the interview and I was in. And to be
Boom.
honest, probably it was one of the best decisions in my life I ever made. I'm very happy that I went and I sold and I learned a lot, and
So
it's amazing.
yeah, it's such a crazy idea that you think back and you go, that decision changed my life, good or bad. Like even people who didn't do well, it's still an amazing experience, even just to go to try. Um, what did your parents react? They were like, yeah. I mean, I know for Europeans it's a little more difficult because you have to buy your plane ticket to come, and it's kind of expensive. And so how did that prep and expectation affect your decision, and how did your circle react when you said, hey, I'm going to the United States, I'm going to be selling books?
I'm a little bit more probably independent than majority of the students or teenagers. I didn't ask that much, to be honest. So I took a
Yeah.
loan. Yeah, I did not ask for money either. I took a loan, and I kind of said I'm going. And probably it's a good thing. Of course, I was
Yeah.
afraid. I wasn't so confident in this performance, but I just like to get things done by myself somehow. And parents, what they say, they say, okay, you go, so, of course. So it's tough. So I had to collect money, and get this loan and da, 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 da. And in 2005, still Lithuania, wasn't doing that well economically, and now it's much more better. But at that time, it was difficult.
Yeah.
It's not like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, especially back in '05 when things were so different, and economics and politics were so different. I feel like uh, when you growing up in Lithuania, I mean, at least for me, I'm assuming it was similar, that you have this idea of what the United States is like. You watch movies and you're like, all right, this is
Yeah.
what is and then you get here and you get to Nashville. What was the same that you expected? What was different than you expected? What were some of those initial reactions? You're like, wow, this is crazy, or this is new.
Well, you see, we most spend times in Midwest, so that's that's
Yeah,
not the TV's broadcasting
it's not the
you are
same.
used to. It's not the same as you see California, New York, and it's a bit different. So basically, there are three, four, or five Americas when you look at this continent overall, and it's but it's funny, what's the strangest thing for me was when I got to Nashville. There are no sidewalks.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. I see what you're saying. Yeah, I know
In
what you mean.
downtown, when you go, yeah, definitely there are people walking. But from Nashville, this Atchison Way or all the other streets, there's just no sidewalks. I said, what's wrong? We were walking with my friend to the grocery store just to buy some stuff, and people were stopping. And do you guys need help? What do you mean? I'm just walking. What's wrong with you? Almost, trying to help us, or just thinking that we are causing some problems. I don't know. Yeah, so that's a little bit of different way of life. That's one thing. But what else?
Where
I like people though. Like Midwest, I mean, all people are friendly, so that's very helping, and people are more open because we are, in Europe we are more reserved.
Mhm. Yeah, a little bit.
Little
That's
bit, yeah.
okay.
When it's not funny, we don't smile. When there is no
Yeah.
drama, we don't cry,
Yeah.
and we use correct words when we feel them. That's like
Yes.
mistake. You know how it is. Oh, yeah. They cry, they laugh, and they express everything. Oh, I love your jacket. You look great. We can't use word love just randomly. There and there. We
Yeah.
say love only to two or three people in the world, basically. We can't say, oh, I love the way you look. What is that? So it's just different, cultural things, but you get used to it, and then you understand what actually means and how you should react to it, and that you can be a part of this culture as well. It's just we as Europeans also do not have to take it as dramatic and as black or white. It can be gray, it can be fun. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny because when I make or when we've had European guests and just over my time in selling books, you meet, especially like I said, GRS, you meet a lot of Europeans. Every time I made one of them laugh, I'm like, oh, yes, I'm funny. Like I am funny because people here laugh at everything. Like, you go poop, but if you got a European, you got to be like really good to get them. Like I got
Yeah.
you. You laughed. I did it.
Just overall, Americans more expressive in a sense.
Yeah.
They express their opinion more, their feelings more, and we're, a little bit more reserved, as I said at the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And that's okay. I mean, there's reserved people here and there's expressive people there, but generally speaking, sure. Now, where did you go that first summer? What you said you were in the Midwest? Where were you?
Yeah, my first summer I sold in Iowa.
Oh, that shithole. God. I'm from
Actually, it was
Nebraska, so
yeah, it was a small town. It's called Coralville. We were stars of Coralville. Actually, there was a newspaper about us, doing great job, and every morning, not newspaper, but an article, a local interview. A journalist just came in and to see what we are doing and make an article out of this. That these guys don't mess around. They wake up in the morning at 6 a.m. They do their crazy dance. They go and they sell these books and they do great. So we were local stars over there.
you were in Coralville?
Coralville, yeah, like small town.
Coralville. Let's see if I can find this article.
It's not going to be online. Don't forget, it's 2005. I have a paper version somewhere. If you want later, I can do like maybe a copy and send it to you. But you probably won't find it online. I was looking for some time, but this was local newspaper, so it's Coralville News. So don't go.
Oh.
So
Okay,
it's
I
not.
was gonna say, but you could find it every once in a while. You're like, I'm gonna find it. I'll get it. The
Yeah.
Gazette. It's that's hilarious. And so you go to Iowa. Jesus, middle of nowhere. Iowa is just a rough place to be anyway. But I'm just kidding. Here in Nebraskans always give Iowegians a hard time. You get to this place, middle America, corn everywhere, right? And it's your first store. How did you do? I mean, did you get off to a really quick start, or was it kind of difficult? Did you have a time where you're like, screw this, I'm going home, or what did that summer turn out to be like for you?
Oh, I never had a thought, at least at the beginning, that I will give up. It's never been like that. Thursday, I think I had a sale. already, or maybe even a few. But it was also an expected sale. It was just a door demo sale, which means that you just show up at the door, they like it, and they write you a check, and you just leave. I think that the dad who bought it, he wrote me a check on his like back of the truck. He kind of like opened it, and he looked at the books. That kind of like makes sense. He didn't even live in that house. He was a carpenter over there. I knock at the door, and he says, "I actually don't live here." I say, "Oh, okay, crap." But what do you have? Well, I have books. Okay, show me. And chances you're gonna sell to somebody who is not even living there. Where you're gonna deliver the books and all that. Came to my mind. But I say, let's try. So here you go. This is step by step. This is math. This is da da da. And I had this conviction that he's not gonna buy. And I just set the price randomly. I said, okay, do you take check? He says like, okay. I took the check, and I went, and it was just like, huh,
It works.
it just kind of works, and
just kept jamming in Iowa, man. That's so fun.
yeah,
So
well,
as you're no, go ahead. Sorry.
no, I think what helped actually is just not to have these expectations, just like I said, just still go to the next door, and then here you go, and then the guy was there, and he bought it. So
Total pony.
yeah, basically, yeah. So all we need is ponies. So
It's chasing ponies. And you go through the summer. At what point did you decide, all right, I got to come back for 12 more? Because I feel like that's a decision.
well, at what point actually I did have this tough moment when I didn't sell. It was fourth and fifth week when I didn't sell for 3 days. So then I said, maybe it's not for me, because you see, you had these expectations higher, and then suddenly you start not performing. Then okay, what's happening? So this is what a down moment. But then my manager helped me. He took me to follow, and then calmed me down, and then I put the pressure of this, I must sell, towards I must just be good with people and numbers, and it just kind of started working again. But what I really wanted, again, I never thought about it as a 12 summer project, but what I did like, I did like an opportunity to build organization.
Yep.
I like building things. I like building services. I like providing people. I like, organizing, getting everybody together, building something. So for me, it looked as a massive opportunity. Just, I can recruit. I can teach somebody, and those people will sell something, and it's going to be our team. We're going to have a name, and we're going to, just like we said at the beginning, I'm going to conquer the world, and
Yeah.
so it just kind of made sense. And I was given this opportunity next summer to run an organization. And I think I had, maybe 11 people, and that was my organization. And I next summer sold in Indiana, another great country, state, pretty much similar to Iowa. Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Iowa, Indiana, corn everywhere.
Most of my summers I sold Midwest, Iowa, Indiana, Chicago, then Texas, Georgia, Alabama, all these places. Only towards the end of my career as a salesman, as a bookman, I just got to sell in Minnesota. That was a bit different. Dakota, then 2 years in Canada, actually. Yeah.
Whoa. That's so cool. Well, hold on. Did you ever sell in Nebraska? Dang it. Could have had a good territory. No, in Canada, what were some of the differences that you noticed I never sold in Canada, so I don't know. Same books, right? How does that?
Well, people are people everywhere, to be honest. Maybe in Canada, they actually, maybe it's a little bit different as far as the school curriculum. They learn more about Europe, whereas US curriculum, they're strictly based on promoting US history and maybe South America and on and on. But once you go to northern states, and then Canada, they also learn a lot of European history. So what was a surprise for me that they knew quite well where I'm from. They look like a little bit more not like European way, but they just culture-wise they understood it a bit better, I think.
Wow.
And they're maybe a little bit less reserved, more reserved as Americans. They're less expressive in that sense. So that's what I felt. But for me, it was even easier, because I'm the same way. So I just like, so you guys buy it or what? Should I make a joke here or should I do push-ups? Well, you decide. So what do we do? So for me, it was even easier. I didn't have to. Some people say yes and some people say no. Whatever you decide is totally fine with me, guys. Then I throw a joke and, calm them down. This is an American, Alabama way of, selling. If you like it, great. All friends and all everything, this. Let the gods decide. No, so yeah, in Canada it was, I like you, you like me, you see books good. So what do we
Good.
do? Well, of
That
course,
is so awesome.
yeah, I'm making this as already like a little bit radical jokes. It's not like, I guess
Yeah.
you understand the message. It's just, yeah.
Yeah. They're more, it's different. It's just different for sure. I mean, I sold in Massachusetts and that was different than New York. And then I sold in Vermont and that was a whole different, like, it's because people are just so different, the way they think, the political situation
Well,
in that
also
individual
don't
state.
forget one thing: the ancestors they're different because you see, like the North America is just people moving from Europe all over the places, and when you go to like in the places I sold, like Minnesota, they're like, for example, in states or even north, they go to Saskatchewan. Lots of ancestors actually they come from like Scandinavian countries.
Yeah.
And when you are in Europe and you talk to Scandinavians, they're also a little bit more reserved and they're not so expressive. We in Lithuania are considered now very, very expressive and emotional to compare if we compare ourselves to somebody in Scandinavia. So it's also that like I said, there are like in my mind 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 Americas, and they're all different in a sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Georgia and Alabama, much more like in some ways similar to Iowa. I feel like in Indiana, for like especially politically, but from a standpoint of like weather and even the way people value education is also, I feel like, a little different as well. So that's super interesting. That you say.
I like southern states a lot, to be honest. This is where I got my interesting experiences. I learned all these tiny words, as they say, mom and them, how y'all doing, and then things like that. So it was interesting, and
That's epic. Now, what were you? I know we're going to get to ponytails here in a little bit, where maybe some of your favorite stories or some of the biggest lessons learned. But when you go back to Europe and you tell people what you do, like your friends, your family, what did the people at home think of this crazy job? I mean, it must have been just a wild experience that way.
to be honest, you get lots of respect for what you did in the summer when you tell a story. Well, like when you talk to smart people, they understand that everybody is in sales. Like it doesn't matter. You run a school, you have a business, you have a wife, or or you are in a community. You sell something in the sense that selling is actually a communication skills, and they do give you a lot and lot of respect for doing this job because they understand how tough it is.
Yeah.
Getting a no or rejection overall is one of the toughest thing for the human being overall. And now they understand that you've been doing this door-to-door sales and you've been successful in this. So it's okay. Wow, I know it's tough. So they also look at you as a guy with balls. So it's important. And yes, I say it directly. I sold door to door, and it's a really good experience. So
Wow. Yeah, see, it's a little different here. I mean, some people, when I tell them I sold books, are like, "Wow, that's impressive," and then some people are like, "Why?" They don't. They're not very. It's sometimes frowned upon. Actually, they're like, I hate door-to-door people." And you're like, "Well, sorry, I hate you."
it's
Probably.
very subjective topic. It's people had experience with it. Maybe somebody showed up at their door and then the salesman
Yeah.
was not
Rude.
performing well and he was disrespectful and he didn't do a great job. So I understand that. We also have door-to-door and salesmen overall here in Lithuania, in Europe. Some of them are very crappy ones, and that's normal. But it's the process that matters. What
Yeah.
I talk about is that
Yeah.
you can learn it.
That's yeah, brilliantly said. I guess last question from your experience, and then we can get into some ponytails. Is what why did you decide it was time to go? Like, why did you decide? All right, this is it. This is my last summer. I'm done.
Leaving was one of the hardest decisions ever, to be honest. Because I sold quite a bit, but again, I was there with family already because I just like the community and people that were in. I was in this Europe One organization. We were good friends, and with the president Dan Moore, we talk on the regular basis. Well, once a year or twice a year, but still regular basis. It's just a community of people, and for me, it was very because I don't make decisions that, like I was telling you, at the beginning, how hard it was for me to commit to go there. So it was 10 times harder to leave as well, since I felt that this is a part of me. So I felt that probably I needed to leave already maybe 8th or 9th summer, but it was so difficult. My 10th summer was the best. I was number one in the company. But overall was very, very difficult to leave. So I don't know. It's just, school started and then, it just, I was selling and running a school and it kind of happened again gradually. It wasn't like, I end this period of life and start new. It just happened as a natural flow. And
Wow. What you were the number one in the company?
yeah, 2010 maybe, I don't know. I don't remember when.
No. Wow. That's
Yeah,
wild. Hold on. I have a couple more questions. Do you mind if I
yeah, sure.
Okay. Wait, so how big was that summer?
I sold over 10,000 units, I remember, in Canada. I
Oh,
was
you were
with
in
the
Canada.
family. Yeah, I was in, no, yeah, I was in Canada. I sold actually only 5 days a week. Uh, and I did maybe, I don't know, 11 or 12 weeks. I don't remember.
Hold on a sec. Hold on. You sold 5 days a week for
Yeah,
10
because
to
I
11
was with the
days.
family. So one day was a family day, and then one day was a organizational day. So you do calls to organization, you help, and you get yourself together. So I sold 5 days a week. Yeah.
And so you're averaging more.
Technically, yeah.
What? That's wild. So how did you was when I talked to Darta, she was also the number one, I think in 2017. Her story was crazy because she sold only kids books and was the number one. Like she was selling to Amish families in Indiana. With you and here's what she said. She goes, I didn't think I was going to be number one. She just kind of went out and did her best. Was that the same for you, or were you going, I'm going to be the number one? How did you prepare for
No,
that?
no point. Like one thing to understand also, being number one in Southwestern doesn't mean anything. It's just
Yeah, that's fair.
what is it, a Nobel Prize, or is it what, Academy Award, for what? Who cares? Every single corporation in the world have their sales awards, and they have the same thing pretty much. So what? Good luck. So
Yeah.
it
Cool.
means nothing. For outsider or for somebody, it means nothing. And but like I said, true professionalism is that you just are in conditions you are, correct? You do the best you can. Either it is selling, either you are a father, either you are a leader of a company, it does not matter. It does have some kind of metrics that you follow, and what matters the most you do. And only then it leads you somewhere. So if this 10,000 units was enough that summer to be number one, let it be. But like, if I would be competing or needed to compete with some guys who sold 20,000 units, and we have these cases right now already, that would not be
Yeah.
enough. But I wouldn't care because in my situation, I did the best I could. I don't compete with these guys. So
That's
yeah.
that's brilliant. So let me get this straight. So in your head, it was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna do what I know what to do. I have the tools, I have the skills, I have the experience. I'm just gonna go do the best I can. and they just
Well,
happen to be.
technically, yeah. Well, it's just people need to know what they need to do. We need to do. It's like losing weight. For everybody, it's a bit different. They say, "Okay, I'm trying this," and it doesn't work for that person. He's still fat.
Right.
So it's just understanding what you need the most. At this case, for me, I can tell you what was the reason I sold well. I had my family with me, and Rusne was my oldest daughter. She was, I think, that summer, I think it was 2015. So she was only a few years old. And for me, was this, illusion, and that she's always with me when I sell in the car sitting. And I'm thinking, what does she need to see? Does she really care how many units I sell? She probably doesn't. What small children actually want the most in their life?
Let's be around dad or
Be
parents.
with the dad, be with the mom, and just to
Yeah.
have fun.
Yeah.
Technically, they just want to have enjoyable life at this time.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, what type of dad she needs to see now? I go out from the door, I didn't make a sale, whether she needs to see sad, frustrated dad, probably not. If I came down from the house where I sold a bag, what does she need to see? A guy, ooh, sold a bag, yeah. I mean,
She doesn't care.
he doesn't care. And then when you think, in the long perspective, who cares overall if you sold the bag or not? That's nothing. That's not a Nobel Prize. It didn't save the world. This is nothing. So what really helped for me, this analogy I call, my daughter's analogy, what type of dad she wants to see every day. So I just try to for me, it was this attitude thing. That really helped in performing well, how to be stable, relaxed, to know how to be professional, even if you don't perform, to finish day good, to find this customer anyway at the end of the day, and to be happy, even if it's not your best day, but you still perform. And then the next thing I also focused that really helped me a lot was just I really understood what I was selling. So
Yeah.
I was good with books. So I would just, my summer prep was analyzing books, understanding them. I would know single pages, and I would explain how could they benefit kids. That it's actually a good learning tool. It's not only material that you are selling content, but it's a learning tool for a child to understand how to learn, because it's the contents. There is index, there is finding information on your own. These are skills for life. So this is what I sold because I truly believe in this. So, and that's it. And 10,000 units that summer were enough to be number one, and let it be. But this number one means nothing.
Man, that is a brilliant set of wisdom and skills that you just shared. And to give you a perspective, the reason that and to me, that's a big deal because there's so many people, at least in the United States, dealers in the United States, who that is like their goal, and that it's their life mission to hit 10,000 units. And there's so much weight to this production number. And now there's two people that I've had in this month from Europe that have both said, I didn't really like set out for that. I just was out there doing my best and I did what I could with the situation. I mean, what you're saying is a little different than what Darda said, but it's the same message. You're saying it differently, but basically the message is, hey, you are in a situation that you're in. She was in Indiana and Amish country, she couldn't even sell the Advantage book. She only sold the kids book. So you guys were both saying, you're here. You're at the place that you're at. Make the best of it. Do your best because you know what you need to do what you need to do, right? You know how it works, and just execute no matter what.
Well, this is what this program should teach people. It's like, building fake confidence on being number one and going for this, big goal and selling units. It's fine, but to be honest, it's a bit fake because, it's not the true foundation for success elsewhere. if it makes sense. If I am number one producer in Southwestern, it doesn't mean that I'm a good school principal or I can run my company. It doesn't mean that at all. So you have to understand this. This is two different stories. So what we should emphasize is this process, how to be the best we can in the moment we are, with the abilities we have, with the circumstances, with our strengths, actually putting in power our strengths. That's what matters the most. We are all are different, but people who are able to use their strengths as their power are actually succeeding in the world everywhere. So the goal should be higher too. Being number one, like I said, it's just too small of a goal. You can't accomplish much with it. Well, money is good, but
Right.
it's not a lot. This is not millions. This is not billions. You make what, 100,000 Ks, and what? So that's not a lot of money. You can't make difference in the world with 100,000 Ks. My school expense for Ukrainians, it's 100,000 K a month. So
Yeah.
that's nothing.
That's 10,000 units a month leaving out the door or whatever. Yeah.
So we need way more. And we need to find principles and values and also skills that makes more money so we can actually make good things out of it.
Yeah, I love what you said there too, because the opposite is also true, right? Where what I mean by that is, so you say just because I'm number one in Southwestern doesn't mean I'm going to be a good father or a good principal or a good whatever, right? Fill in the, but at the same time, also just because you sold 200 units doesn't mean you're going to be a bad father and a bad, like the units don't matter, and or like your production and this one thing that you did that one summer, though it was a helpful thing, and though you learned a lot and you created this income for yourself or whatever you want to say, that doesn't matter,
Well, in a sense, yes, you're right. But you see, I am that type of personality. I always need to find a good cause for the things I do, and the goals have to be very, very, very big. But for some people that are very specific and motivated by units, I mean, this also might work. Actually, being number one for them right now, it's also a proof of something. And this unit counting thing, it's also might help them. And it's not a problem by itself. As I'm not saying that this type of philosophy I'm saying or this type of thinking is better in any sense. What I'm saying is that every person needs to find their own strengths and how to kind of like, put them in action. For me, the greater cause helps. And as I said to you at the beginning, there is no problem I need to fix, and if it's not big enough, I'm not gonna even do it. So why?
Yeah.
I don't have purpose in life then.
That is brilliant. You are awesome, man. I'm learning. I'm right here like, ooh, that's good. Write that down. Write that down. That's good. That's good.
Yeah, well, that's gonna cost you money, so you know where to transfer.
Yes, fair enough. Oh man, you are great. You are so fun. Hey, okay, so we can go into some ponytails, maybe some last life lessons. But before we do that, I want to do one thing I've done with all our European or most of our European guests is I have some questions about your country, like some fun facts, and you tell me how accurate this is, if this website's just lying or if this is legit. So is that cool?
Yeah, sure.
All right, here we go. So number one, Lithuania is one of the oldest languages. Lithuanian is one of the oldest languages in the world today. This language was one of the oldest living Indo-European languages in Europe. Is this, accurate?
Yeah, true.
Yes. Sweet, sweet. Number two, basketball is the most popular sport in the country. Several Lithuanians have gone to the NBA, the greatest star being Arvydas Sabonis.
True.
Let's go. He played for Portland, right? Is that?
Portland Trail
Yeah.
Blaze.
That's where I live, baby. Portland.
That's a nice
let's
place.
go. It's a lovely place. One of the most famous Lithuanian dishes is kapelinai. Am I saying that right?
Yeah, it's
Cepelinai?
cepelin. Yeah, it's kind of like this, mashed potato inside meat, and it's very heavy for stomach and very fat. But what the hell?
Cepelinai. I see. It was
Cepelin.
named so because of its oval shape, which resembles the Zeppelin airship. Zeppelini. Okay. Wow.
Yeah, it's the same shape. That's true.
Amazing. Okay. Easter eggs are not brought by cute and fluffy animals. It's Granny Veluk Bobuti. I don't know how to say that.
Yeah,
Bobut.
it's
Who
the
does it?
liquid Buddha. It's just like old granny brings in those Easter eggs. That's just a cultural thing, as they say, and tradition, as they say. But I've never seen her, so
Yeah, I
just
see.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
like Santa
it's true.
Claus.
Yeah, but it's true. Yeah.
Bunnies help her decorate the eggs and load her cart. That's the tradition. I see. Like that's interesting. In Colombia, we don't have Santa Claus. I mean, kind of. We know who he is. but baby Jesus is the ones that brings the gifts. We don't have like a fat old man that brings like, oh. I'm like, when I first came here, I was like, what the hell is that? And they're like, Santa's not real? I'm like, no. I was that kid that ruined it for kids.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah.
Number 5. Every year, the River Vilnia is dyed bright emerald green for St. Patrick's Day. The idea originated in Chicago in the 60s when Irish plumbers discovered an entirely harmless way of dyeing the water.
I don't know this one, or you can read a bit slower, and I will try to connect
Oh,
dots.
every year, the River Vilnia, they
Vilna,
make it green. They put dye in it to make it green. Is that right? It's for St.
yeah,
Patrick's Day.
maybe, maybe I can't say it. No, I'm not sure because I'm from Kaunas. Vilna is a little bit further. So
We'll put a maybe on that one.
yeah,
There's an oak tree in Lithuania that has survived the Crusades. It's the oldest tree in Europe.
I'm not sure if it's the oldest in Europe, but it's quite massive. Stelmužas ąžuolas, I guess that's the name of it, and it's just like very big. It's very old, and Crusades might be true, but whether it's oldest in Europe, maybe I don't know.
That's cool. All right, a couple more. Miesto Cienos Gazve, the town Wall Street, a tiny alley inside a residential building, hides an uncovered medieval wall fragment. That's cool.
Might be, but like Old Town is rich in Lithuania, and you will find everything here, so it might be the fact. Yeah.
The country even has its own aroma called the scent of Lithuania, which with notes of wildflowers, raspberry, sandalwood, musk. It's a whole scent.
Yeah,
Cool.
for sure.
Vilnius has an anonymous swing foundation. That's a group of people who install swings all around the city, often changing their locations.
Well, I've seen swings. Not sure how active are they right now, or what. But you can see swings in Vilnius and Kaunas.
That's cool. And then the last one is Lithuanians celebrate 2 Independence Days, February 16th, and another day of the Restoration of Independence on March 11th.
That's true, yeah.
Sweet. Cool. That is awesome, man. Well, okay, so time to move on into the ponytails. I'm going to do a quick shout out really quick. And in the meantime, think of some stories. Think of like either a big lesson you learned or your favorite pony or the craziest story of your summers. You have 12 or you have 13 to pick one from. And so just think about it and while I run through this. Is that cool? Alrighty. Now, one big shout out I want to give out to, and while Andrius is thinking of his story, we are working with a couple of folks in the European part of the world where they're helping us with our website. So VDisain are the people who started and kind of crafted our website together. If you own a business, obviously you know you have to have a good presence online. Otherwise, what are you doing? It's 2022. Now, most American website developers cost anywhere between 25 to 50 grand to build your own company's website. Of course, you can build one for yourself for pretty cheap, but our friends at VDisain bring an experience and expertise in integrations, which is the big part. It's important for you to have a solid website that funnels all the traffic. So if you're looking for more than just a landing page, an actual website that does a variety of things you needed to do, communicate, automate, integrate, give us a call. They're actually doing it for a fraction of the price because they're from Estonia. And so if you are in the US and you have a business that really needs to revamp their website, kind of scale it to a much larger way, this is the way you want to go. So reach out to us. We'll put you in touch with Oliver Reynes or Oscar Koha, and they will hook you up with a website, especially if you sold books. It's pretty solid. Also, a big shout out to EnLight.Energy. They're doing to the world of solar what Southwestern Real Estate is doing to their industry. So if you have a passion for the planet, a desire to earn good money, if you want to work with someone like Nick Tafferty, let's see how you can join him and Julio Hernandez and Alex Black over at EnLight. Sale every other week. One sale every other week, you earn 6 figures. It's pretty cool. They have the ability to work with people in just about every market in the US. So it doesn't matter what state you live in. Plus, you're not even selling anything in additional cost. You're just saving people money. It's a pretty phenomenal opportunity there. And then last but not least, one more time, shout out to Cardinal and the team over with Quentin Roberts and Pedro Vega. Of course, They started with us about two months ago. They had 27 former book people. Now they have 31 plus a couple more people in the pipeline. It's pretty awesome. One of the main reasons that those alumni came on board with Cardinal is because the culture and the selling system that they have set up. Of course, they did a really good job of creating all the good cultural aspects with people like Pedro, Nick Dale, and Quentin and Greta. You're going to have pretty solid camaraderie, a lot of hands-on training, a lot of fun. And they took all the bad parts out, like the cold calling, the 80-hour work weeks, the lack of freedom and flexibility. On top of that, you can make a really good living without having to sacrifice a lot of time for your, like, from your family or from your personal life. And the numbers bear it out. Every single week, their top performers are earning between 12 to 15K per week, and they've done that averaging about 35 hours, maybe 32 hours a week. So as we mentioned before, Cardinals in growth mode. They're looking to double in 2022. So if you want to find out why so many people who sold books are going over to Cardinal, go ahead and refer yourself or a friend. We can't promise you a job, but we can get you an interview. And of course, if you refer someone else and they get hired, you get a $500 referral bonus. There is a link below you can click, and they will hook you up with that referral bonus if that person goes on. So anyway, that is all for our shout outs. Now it's time for some ponytails and to kind of and wrap this one up. Andrius, did you think of a couple of stories or a couple of things to share with us for some big finish? I want to win finish to this episode.
Well, I'm not sure how I want to win those episodes are, but one thing I've learned is how to have fun with people on the book field is always say yes to things, because like when you go to some families, they're willing to help, and they're saying, "Oh my God, what you gonna eat? Do you need this jam or jar of jam?" I say, "Yeah, sure." "Do you need these pickles?" Or, "Yeah, I'll take it." So it's just when you go to Mexican families, they want Corona. I say, "Sure." And then those were the usually last calls. We always had this almost a story when we came back. The last calls of the day, like after 8 or 9 p.m., we would compete for this, what did you get story. So with Mexicans, it's always Corona and nachos and, eating, with some
Tacos.
tacos and all. And because if it's Friday, then they have a party all the time. So you go in, then you dance, you sell, and you take Coronas with you, and leave. If you go to farmers, they have those pickles and all of it, So I would collect everything. And the point of it is that, first of all, you have good time too. You spend a little bit time with families, and also, and one thing for sure is that people want to be important. They want to give you something. They want to help you somehow. So give them this opportunity. That's what I learned. So I learned that you always have to say yes to that type of offers. There are different offers, but to those type of offers, you say yes. If it's a good time and people want to help, then yeah, I'll take it. If they give you cash, I usually don't. But I don't know, guys. Okay, I'll donate it to somebody. I'll take it. They want to give you something, so let it be. So those were my fun stories. Usually Friday, Saturday night when we would, chill with families. And then as far as other type of stories, what I noticed, and I'm very, very grateful for this opportunity. My first summer, I understood a lot. And it did not occur to me earlier, is that when I started going door to door, I started understanding that and starting feeling and seeing it actually, that there are lots and lots of people with lots of problems. I've seen many disabled people. I've seen many good examples of families and very bad examples of how parents should be raised or not. I've seen traumas. It's the first time in my life I've seen a huge pain. I've seen a mom crying because her 5-year-old son was run over a car like 2 days ago. And I got to experience this as a 21-year-old student. I've never talked to somebody who had such a bad loss and such a tragedy. So for me, it was eye-opening that the world out there is very different, and some people are I don't know, going through pain, some going through happiness, and just to experience this as a young student was just, extremely powerful and building character as well. And as a father, I saw lots and lots of good examples of people who are raising kids properly. And it was amazing to see you go into the family and everything there is under control. Kids are cool, mom is cool, dad is awesome, and you seems like, oh look, you have an example what you want your family to be in. So overall, it's that type of experiences that are actually making our mind, making what we are, and so I'm grateful for this.
Brilliantly said, my sir. Well, yes, absolutely. I love that you said that. We've had that discussion on the show before too, and I think it's always worth mentioning is that you learn about the real world, about what life can really be like, and how to be a good dad, and how to be a good parent, and how to be a good husband. Yeah, just such a cool lesson to learn. I'm glad that that's what you chose to end with, because it's brilliant. It's beautiful. That is so cool. Yes, sir. That is an I want to win finish. Yes, sir. Right there. That is an
All
I
right.
want to win finish. Yes, sir. Well, man, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for taking the time on kindergarten graduation day. That's a big deal to me. I know how important that is. And so thank you so much. One last time, guys, if you guys want to help out, that's I put the website again. It's going to be on the link below in the description of this episode. We need to help these kids. Hero, that's HEROJUS.IT/IT. Parama, PARAMA. Reach out to Andrius if you want to more information. If you want to be, if you want to
Yeah,
support, if you have
that's
ways
what I
people
wanted
can.
to say as well, Andres. You can just also just spell my name and last name if they could find me on social media. That's also quite an
Oh yeah.
easy way. And
Okay.
maybe
Yeah.
because this is all Lithuanian names here of the website, and people might get confused. I'm afraid of this.
Yeah.
So it's just
Yeah. We got confused. We got, for some, it was, we had Andres Martin on as an email too, and I was like, oh man, we had the wrong. There's I didn't even know there was so many Andreses in Eastern Europe, but I thought it was more. Here we are though. Great name. Yeah, it's Andrius Pelegrimas, Andrius, and then Pelegrimas is Pele, like the soccer player, Pelegrimas. And so you guys can reach out, get a hold of him on Facebook, LinkedIn. You can probably find him on Instagram as well, I'm assuming.
yeah,
And
social media anywhere. Probably if you Google the LinkedIn, probably will come up. Just
yeah, so through LinkedIn, and you just find Andrius, connect and get and see how you can help. Again, my name is Andrius Gamboa. This has been the Ponytails Podcast, and this has been our European month. We are so excited to share this with you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, so to know who's coming up, what people are on the pipeline. Roger Smith is with us in July. Dustin Hillis will be with us in September. We got a lot of cool names coming up as guests. And so hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much. We'll see you guys in the next one.